So, welcome all to the first episode of this guest speaker series with the Tribe of Coaches in this year of 2026. And every Monday, we have a conversation that makes us better coaches and helps us build our profiles and careers as coaches across the ICF structures. So, today, one of my very close friends, very good friends, Pushkar Vaidya, is here. He's sharing his life journey. For some of us who know him well and know him very closely, he is uh, notoriously legendary for 400 hours of coaching done in a year, finishing it with the flying colors, getting to his PCC beautifully, and the whole journey getting there, starting career investor, doing all of his the website on his own, and we've had a lovely conversation prior to this, and even before he getting into coaching. Not that way. Before he getting into TOC, he had a very different version of what TOC is and what who I am, and now possibly things have changed. He comes with that aspect of yeah, works with Grow Model. He's been working with leaders. He has a PG diploma in design thinking and innovation, bachelor in hotel management, and one of those things is in terms of his interview. He got to his interview and somebody said, "I don't have time," and I'm driving from place A to place B. So Pushkar took that person in his car, drove them to that place, and while driving, the interview happened. He got placed. So that's something that I have a very fond memory of with what Pushkar does. Uh, with the coaching world, he is entered into the PCC, works with career transitioning, and that's the introduction I wanted to do. Sure, over to you if you want to share anything else, and keep us on our toes in terms of what you're going to share.
No, I think thank you for that introduction, Sunil, and hi everyone. So, I think just to add to what Sunil has already so eloquently spoken about is I've been have around 30 years of experience in the corporates and last 15 years, for example, was with HSBC. I've played various roles with them, and coaching started officially, unofficially at that time when I was working because I used to lead teams, large teams. I was in the typical BPO or contact center operations where we lead large teams. So I had team sizes of 700, 800 people. So a lot of my time was spent on talking to people, listening to them, and kind of being there for them, right? Because it's a very highly people centric industry. So I think that's where my inclination towards coaching started really. And a lot of people liked what I had to offer. So I don't know what it was called that time. Was it coaching, mentoring, giving gyan, or just listening? I have no idea. But somewhere it resonated with me. People liked it. They kept coming back for more. So being HSBC, the organization it is, the fantastic organization it is, gave us many opportunities. So I got enrolled in a Grow program. I got certified as a Grow coach, and we started doing some internal coaching. And yeah, that's I think what kind of set the roots for me, or said or sowed the seeds for me, or for in this world. So a couple of years back, so 2023, I left HSBC, and I was like wondering, what do I want to do next? So very cliched, I started some consulting, and I got a few projects, and then I realized it's nothing different, right? It's the same thing I'm doing, but in a different package. So then I really thought, what is it that I'm going to enjoy doing for the next 15 years of my life? So, as an example. And that's when I remembered all these coaching conversations or mentoring or giving gyan or whatever it was. And I decided to sign up for coaching. So that's how I kind of got into this journey. When was it? Last year. Wow. It seems so far away, but it was actually only about May last year when I started my training for ICF. So yeah, it's been only 1.5 years in the
So you had
ICF
a
family.
thriller of a ride.
Oh yeah, completely thriller, right? So
So
Sunil
for a
knows
lot
about
of
it,
us,
and
yeah, no, I am privy to some of these conversations in terms of how this happened. For a lot of us who struggle through the first initial say 100 hours, 50 hours, how did you sort of work through it with that?
So one thing that helped me, that I was completely, I mean, it was a goal I had for myself, and I was completely focused on that. So, and thankfully, or whatever, it worked for me that I was unemployed. So I didn't have a job as such. So I could completely focus on that. And it was primarily peer coaching, right? That time, because
Correct.
getting clients and all, forget it's still a challenge. But that time it was unheard of because I didn't have anything under my belt. So what I did was I kind of set up my systems first. And
Mm,
because my entire background is in operations, I knew that if I had the systems in place, then that all of that administrative work becomes easier. Because I noticed on a lot of WhatsApp groups, people putting in that anybody for peer coaching, and then there'll be multiple exchanges in either on the group or in DMs on trying to fix a time, the second slot, first slot, and all of that. So
yes.
I kind of, and I love to automate things. So I use the calendar apps and automated it in such a way that, you book one session and automatically you get to book the next one. So it's there. The subject line says who's coaching who, so there's no ambiguity and all of that. So it worked really well.
You
And
built a system.
I built a system completely. So nothing fancy, Sunil, just a calendar app, and cal.com is something I use because it gave me a lot of customizations for free. And obviously for free is the main thing because so, and then I had goals. And one thing I didn't do, and what I realized a lot of people did, but and probably which was not correct, was I didn't have goals on an Excel sheet.
Mm,
So I have come across a lot in my conversations a lot of peer coaches who used to say, okay, I can do 2 hours a day, so that's 10 hours a week, so that's for 40 hours a month. It doesn't work out that way. We have these beautifully laid out plans, and then life happens. Something comes up. There's a dinner you need to go to, there's a lunch, or there's a friend's party, and it just goes out of the window. So I think I just focused on getting as many sessions as possible. So I think, and then peer coaching was tough because,
mm,
after a moment of time, you don't know what to ask, what to talk, what
correct.
topic to bring, right? So I used to kind of and I think that was my most challenging part. Uh, in a day, I've done 5, 6 sessions also.
Mm,
And it becomes very difficult then to talk about or to bring a very genuine problem to the table.
correct.
And and trust me, the other person knows. Are you faffing around, or do you really want to? So that
Yes.
balance had to be kept. But thankfully, I think I've with all my peer coaches, I've had a good rapport. We've had a good run. So we're still in touch, though not for peer
Mm,
coaching. So I think that's a good indication.
yeah,
And being genuine was most important at that time.
absolutely. Absolutely.
So
Yeah, and I think that's a add-on in terms of that, Pushkar, in terms of peer coaches do not end up only as peer coaches. That's my first lesson. My
correct.
first paid clientele was actually my peer coaches who I had like during my ACC days. So I had moved up to PCC and had done my PCC
Mm,
certification,
mm.
and they needed mentoring, and they had done it through the ACHTH path and not
Okay.
the ACTP. So they were easily 10, 12 years ahead of my life experience. And I was more experienced in coaching than them, and they're like, I know you're my first choice.
Mm,
So the only negotiation was time, effort, and maybe some bit of revenue. But since I was starting out, I said, I'm good with this particular structure. This is my
correct.
range, and this will work out. And it was
Okay.
a tick and done, right? So that's
Absolutely.
how it goes. And you cannot just look at a peer coach saying, "Oh, I am, I scratch your back, you scratch mine, and after that, tata bye bye."
No, in fact,
It's a
Sunil, I
relationship.
came across a couple of, and thankfully only a couple, where the entire objective was, I'll go for 30 minutes, you go for 30 minutes. I said, what? What is this? I said, that's not how I work. So, and I actually stopped coaching with them. So, which is fine. So, no,
Which
no,
is fine. Yeah,
no
you
harm,
will
no
have
foul.
all
But
kinds.
yeah.
You'll have all kinds
So,
there. So,
so then I did my 100 hours in, I think, a little over 3 months. And then, of course, I started studying for the exam because this was last year. So then I decided to go in for the credentials exam. We didn't,
Mm,
the ACC exam wasn't there, right? The
correct,
pure
correct.
ACC exam hadn't been launched yet. So I actually studied very hard for it. I often tell my wife, I would have studied so much for my 10th and 12th. I would have been in a very different place right now. But anyway, so and I think that credentials exam was a great motivation for me to make sure that I complete the next 400 hours in 1 year
Yeah,
because
so it is challenging.
that exam was so scary. I can't tell you. I'm sure all of you know about it, but it was very scary. So,
Uh, no, I completely agree on that. I had a very different experience, but I think it's only for me. I've had people tell me saying it was nightmarish to prepare for the exam. So,
hmm. No, I
um,
actually took a month to prepare for it properly. Gave multiple mock exams, then the uh, everything. So I just went over and
all
over
across.
everything again, all the ICF videos and on YouTube and on the core
Yeah,
competencies and everything. So anyway, so that was that. And then, yeah, once I got the ACC, I said, Stu, can't rest now. Now is the next this thing of PCC now because I had a goal of completing that within 100 hours. Oh, sorry,
within a year.
within a year. So
Mm,
yeah, so and I knew for a fact somewhere that I won't be able to do this through peer coaching only
mm,
because I didn't have anything genuine to bring across, because
correct.
it was done. I mean, it was exhausted. Um, so yeah, I mean, there are very a lot of interesting things I tried and I did.
Please let us know. I think that's why I put you on the hot seat saying, because the question mark for a lot of young coaches is, okay, like if you're a genuine coach space, you know that you're exhausted with topics, and the other side wants to. I'm very happy to be the coach, but if I am now becoming the client, I'm like, I don't think I have enough to
Correct.
bring it to a
Absolutely.
full-fledged thing. So you want to also be very conscious of what the other person, from an empathy point of view, you also want to see, okay, why you take it there. And 500 is not an easy number. 100 I can still
Not a problem.
go
Yeah.
through. 500 with 400 hours is not an easy ball game altogether. So what were some of the things that worked for you and maybe what didn't work for you?
What worked for me is definitely what I referred to also earlier, not having this Excel sheet based goal.
Mm,
And I know I keep bringing this up, but this was something I've come across many conversations, and I'm totally against it because it just sounds so well on good on an Excel sheet, 2 hours a day, 10 hours a week for 40 hours a month, and there I'm done. No, it doesn't work that way. So anyway, so that's one thing I was very sure of. Um, Second thing is, so I tried numerous things, right? So I tried something called a pay what you want concept, right?
mm,
So I wanted to make sure I log in as a paid session from ICF point of view. So there has to be something given in exchange. So I said pay what you want, and I got a good number of people signing up for it through contacts, and then it was actually pay what you want. So somebody really paid me well. Somebody paid me as low as 100 rupees for 6 sessions. I said whatever it is, it's fine. Okay. But what it did help me is that it helped me get my hours more consistently and without that double commitment of
correct.
peer coaching, right? So, and of course, real exposure to what can come up from a client's perspective. And I think what happened in this, so that was one, pay what you want was one. Then I took out a referral scheme for them, right? For those clients who have come to me through pay as you want. So refer your friends to me. So nothing monetary, but you can get additional sessions, because obviously monetary was not a something that I wanted to do at that stage. Then then of course regular things like social media or my own like Facebook walls and alumni groups and just putting the word out there and being consistent about it, Sunil. I think that was the main thing because what happens is that today you might read my message, right? Even if it's a WhatsApp message sent to you, today you might read it, but you might not have the need. But if I'm periodically being in touch with you for the same reason, subconsciously 3 months later when you have the need, it's like the
Correct.
Ghostbusters
Correct. Correct.
tagline. Who are you gonna call? Ghostbusters, like so who are you gonna call? Pushkar. So so that's what I think consistency was the main thing there. So be at it,
Absolutely.
pay what you want, pro bono sessions. And I started working with some universities, with some colleges, saying that I'll do pro bono sessions. Then there were some organizations who wanted pro bono sessions. Fantastic, fine, no problem. So it was a combination of a lot of things that, and I think I never said no, which was, I never said no. I never said that, okay, I don't want to do this or I don't want to do free sessions, because I think my goal that time was to get the hours and in the right way,
Correct.
right? And that was the objective. So, yes, it wasn't paying. I agree. But that was not the goal at that time.
Yeah.
So, having that goal in mind and completely focused, because again, the, I think my biggest motivation was that I don't give that exam again. Trust me, it might sound very corny or cliched, but that entire experience was scary for me. I mean, it was
Yeah,
what,
especially
close
for those
to,
who've done the worst answer, the best answer part, I completely feel you.
yeah, absolutely. And so I didn't want to go through that. Even my wife told me after I, came out from giving the exam, she told me, I've never seen you so fluttered and tense. I said, I don't know what, but this was an experience of its
Mm,
own kind. Yeah, so then once you start doing all these sessions and you start, your network increases, then you start getting a few clients also. So things slowly started falling in place, but I think the consistency of doing things, and there were some coaches, my peer coaches, who also signed up as clients with me.
mm,
So, which was a great testament to whatever was being done, right? Because they wanted to have pure coaching sessions from me as such. So that happened. So a lot of these things put together kind of worked very well to do these 500 hours. And then I think towards June or July, I started getting some more clients, which were, through contacts and everything. So that really helped me speed it up. So yeah, any specific things you want me to talk about?
yeah, I think what I'm curious is how did you transition from an ACC to a PCC, right? So um, that's something I want you to talk about more so from uh, a young coach's point of view.
So see, there are two aspects. So now, and I think it boils down to what you're trying to do here, Sunil. So, and I'll tell you the reason for that. So nowadays, and I don't know how it was before, but nowadays, regretfully, I don't think ICF has so much of governance on this transition. Okay. What I mean by that is right now, I think they just want us to declare that we've completed everything and that's it. I don't know if it was different earlier. So, and that's why I say it boils down to the intent, right? So, what is the ACC and PCC? It's just not the hours. It's the way you
Correct.
coach, right? Are you coaching the person? Are you coaching the problem? Or what are you coaching? Correct. So,
Mhm.
I think the transition for me was, and once you, even when you're doing peer coaching or with client coaching and everything, right? If you have the intent, which is to make sure that you're following everything, right? Then that is going to make that difference. And did I have a mentor? No, I didn't sign up for mentor because I couldn't afford it, right? I didn't want to, it's expensive. All of this is expensive. So then, of course, I kind of used AI to my advantage. So simply put, it's not perfect. It's not a perfect science, but I used to transcribe my calls, right? And I used to remove the names. I used to upload the transcript in ChatGPT, tell them that these are the PCC markers which ChatGPT obviously knew. And then I used to ask them to rate me on that. Okay. That was my way of saying that, am I getting, or am I making this transition in the right way, or am I making it purely from a numbers point of view?
Yeah.
Because I think that's where this, sometimes I refer to this entire ICF coaching now as the quota factory. You know,
I
I'm
completely get you. I have very similar views on the same.
Yeah. So right now, if you ask me if I'm confident, because I've heard stories from very senior coaches and then how, the entire governance was there earlier about the call recording and the monitoring and the, evaluations. But I didn't experience that in my journey. Correct? So mine was just, I mean, I think nowadays it is that. So it's just a tick off saying that I've completed my 500 hours. Nobody's asking me for the log. Nobody's doing anything, nothing, nothing, nothing. So I think it boils down to a person's intent, whether they want to do it the right way or whether they want to kind of just get that badge up there. So it's a very
Absolutely.
tricky catch-22 kind of a situation.
Correct. Correct. No, intent and integrity both matter, right? So if you're trying
Absolutely.
to do just for from an Indian point of view, and me being an engineer myself, so if it's like tick mark, I've done engineering and now I'll get a job kind of a thing. Uh, a lot of us
Hmm.
do engineering for the sake of doing it because
Yeah.
there's nothing, no other options left, kind of a thing. So that way, it just does not work. And I've seen people also personally who have PCC credentials, ACC credentials, and sometimes people with no credentials and
Yeah.
no idea what coaching is.
Correct.
Their presence in the call is extremely beautiful.
Hmm.
And who certified, who suddenly you question the whole dynamics of the earth, saying why is this like this? So I've had all that spectra, and I think what I really love the way you conveyed it is it's not transactional. It's not about the number of hours. It's how you coach in that place, and
Correct.
500 then becomes a destination rather than a tick mark. And how will you
Absolutely.
get better? What is the kind of clientele that you're working?
Correct.
And more individuals rather than peer coaches. So it sort of sets you up for what you actually are trying to get at the end. Right. So somebody told me as a coach saying, I will become a PCC and then I will reach out to my target audience. I said, all the best. And then nothing else that we could do.
And I think
Right.
Sunil, and the whatever the niche or whatever you call it, I don't use these fancy terms.
Good.
I don't
That's
believe
good.
in all of these terms that you need to have a niche and all that. But whatever said and done, because of my experience, I've naturally kind of progressed towards career coaching, right? Because that's where my experience lies. And what I've realized, it's tough. And I'll tell you the reason why. So if you look at various types of coaching that happen, so it could be life or relationship or anything of that sort. Why I find career coaching different and tougher is because, and especially when there's an employer paying and an employee taking these services, is they want results.
Absolutely.
They don't want to pay me X number of whatever rupees for me to ask them questions. They want to hear what would I have done in that situation,
Mm,
right?
absolutely.
But then refraining, and then it's very tempting, Sunil. It's very tempting to say that, boss, do this. I've got
Yes.
your
Yes.
back, do
Yes.
this.
Yes.
But to refrain yourself and do we end up giving some suggestions? Yes, we do, which is fine. And I have no qualms in saying or admitting that because that is what the requirement is and that is what the client needs. But
I think it's
what you need to say to yourself is that have you tried to do what actual coaching is before you reach that stage? Question you ask yourself and you answer it yourself. And
correct.
that's where then, that what we referred to as earlier, the integrity or the thought process, all of that is very important in this profession.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Your default is not going back to consulting, mentoring. Work with
No,
that approach, a nudge here and there that puts the client on the other side,
correct?
back on track is there because all of us we've done this with coaches. The coach on the other side knows that this is part of the whole dance, right?
Yeah,
So we know
yeah,
the ritual, we know the choreography and stuff.
correct.
And it, the real like if the coach on the other side of the uh, client who's also a coach on the other side suddenly pauses, that's when you actually had a coaching call that says,
Correct.
yeah,
Absolutely.
this was a genuine thing. Otherwise, it's run on autopilot.
Absolutely.
So
Yeah.
especially these
So
30-minute conversations, like it's like, I'm doing this, and then you do this, that. It just does not cut it. And yes, and you're wasting your time of 500 hours. It's like they've given you an year or 500, like whatever is the number, to sort of get your skill to a point where it moves out of
and then
certain skill
that's what I'm
range.
saying. So is it right now? Are my skills being judged when I'm being awarded the PCC right now, or is it the hours?
I have
Debatable
both
question.
conflicting answers to this one. I have conflicting answers
True.
to this one because I've seen people still crack the exam. And I've also been told saying it's a bare minimum, right? So even at an ACC, it's a minimum that you've done to get to ACC. It's a
Correct.
minimum that you've done to get to PCC, and also possibly minimum that you get to do at MCC.
Absolutely.
So for all of us who, like, has my coaching changed after I completed and credentialed with PCC? Oh yes. In the last year and a half, I have completely switched different gear,
Hmm.
because I know I'm no longer required to hit all markers in the session. I'm
Hmm.
not going to
Hmm.
be judged by XYZ. So
Yeah.
I have let go of so many things which I used to ask typically to say, okay, this should be a perfect conversation, or they should hit the markers, pass through. So I've gone to a space where it's almost like a Buddha energy is saying, I'm here, kind of a thing, which I think also eventually led me to that place to say, I think MCC is on the cards. Right? So
Hmm.
that's how it is. And then some places, depending on the coaching institute and the coach trainer that you
Hmm.
have, I've seen people at 40 hours consistently show that they're better than, like,
Oh yeah, yeah,
extremely
yeah.
well structured
Absolutely.
PCCs, because it comes very naturally to them. And I don't know if our skill is tested, because one of the things I heard from the slightly elder generation of PCC coaches was that they had to do a live coaching session. Like a
Yeah.
person is sitting there and you're coaching somebody on the other side, and
Okay.
they're sitting with you through that entire process, and that's a whole new ballgame,
Yeah, yeah, absolutely. So
right?
that's what I'm
So
saying. The governance or the has changed a lot, is what I've understood from
very
conversations.
strongly.
So,
I have myself pointed out a few loopholes for people at
hmm.
ICF, saying, hey, this could be how it could be misused. And I've always found the answer in terms of saying we are a self-governed, integrity-based space. There will always be
Which
a
is good.
large equation that
Which is
follows the
good.
rules. There will be some who know how to play around with it.
Anyway, so I think that's a debate for another day or
Debate
another
for another day.
conversation.
But I love the aspect of don't stick with the hours. And I also very subtly and very intentionally brought out the concept saying you do not start after you're done. You start
Hmm.
while you're doing it, especially in
Correct.
terms of your career investment. I know for a reason that you started it earlier,
Yeah.
if I remember it, in between ACC to PCC
Yeah, yeah.
transition. So that,
January this year.
yeah,
Oh, sorry, last year. Okay.
last year. So it's about a year plus that it has come by. And
Yeah.
uh, would you like to talk about, because you brought niche and you brought career in it. So how did this for a lot of us, the biggest challenge is how do we get our paid clientele and
So,
consistently get our paid clientele.
so career investor is it's more about mentoring than coaching, right? And so why this came to me is because I was thinking or reflecting back on, and this in fact came out on, if the tagline from move from why me to watch me, it was actually, it came out from a coaching session with a peer. And this was the problem I had, this was the situation I had come up, that, I'm doing this, I don't know what to call it. And so all this has come out of a coaching session for sure.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yes. Yes.
So
Yes.
what it is it's not much of coaching there. It's basically straight off guidance and mentoring. There are 54 topics I've covered. And so based on my experiences, and I was thinking that, in my career, I wish there was somebody who I could just go to and say that I have this problem. No judgment, no gyan, no fluff. This is what you need to do. That
Hmm.
quick fix kind of a thing. So that's what this is all about. And So I it took me a year because there was research on every topic, and the website how it was. Then I
Mm,
just completely took it down. I started building it myself, and then I've done that now. I was supposed to launch it earlier this year, but I couldn't. Uh,
mm-hmm.
so now I'm replanning that activity. So let's see how it goes. But
Yeah.
yeah, this took a lot of energy, time, and everything during. So it was a parallel activity also, recording these videos, editing them, no outside help. Because one, I couldn't afford it.
True,
Simple.
true, true.
So taught me a lot of things: Canva, automations, YouTube, I don't know,
Mm.
WordPress, coding. So it was crazy.
Yeah, and I think it also is a testament to your tenacity, right? I think that's one word I forgot to talk about in the introduction. And anything got to do with Pushkar, I've always seen that. So for others listening, uh, I'd say Pushkar pulled it off in terms of everything at once. So you'll obviously put a lot of effort. But there are some places where you may not need to do everything. You may not need to reinvent the wheel, kind of a thing. And also get there. And what I'm also seeing is a constant self improvement that goes beyond, numbers, beyond credentials, and a strategy. It's very important to have a strategy.
Yeah,
And it's very clear
absolutely.
that Career Investor is about mentoring. There are a lot of coaches who come to uh, me as well and also ask the same question. Can you continue to mentor and consult while being a
Of course you
coach?
can.
That is yes, but not in the coaching call, right? So
Correct.
yeah,
Absolutely.
that's the
Has to be very
difference.
distinct.
Yeah. So
So
that way it
if
is
you
very clear.
no, no. So if you look at my offerings on Career Investor, which I have these one-on-one session, there is a coaching and there is a mentoring. So
It is explained very clearly to person
correct.
reading on the website, and even
Absolutely.
when we do a chemistry call, that's how it works. Uh, I think in terms of this, I have another question. So, what's your chemistry call conversation like? I'm considering I've come to you and I've seen your website. I've come to you.
Hmm.
How do you handle that?
Okay. So I have a deck which I had earlier, and I'm
Mm-hmm.
not going to bore you with it right now. But what it essentially, so I stopped doing chemistry calls, Sunil, frankly.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Very interesting. Okay.
Okay, I'll tell you the reason why also.
Mm-hmm.
So anyway, so when I used to do them, I had a deck which spoke about what coaching is. I have a small video that I had prepared about what coaching is, what it is not. Okay, that's one more main aspect. The difference between coaching and mentoring, and what they can expect out of it. Okay, so basic five, six, and something about me also. I mean, why am I suited to coach them, right? So my credentials and all of that stuff. Um, It was challenging, obviously, because everything was fantastic, great, wow, superb. Let's start. The price point comes, and then suddenly, I think all of us go through it. So suddenly there
Yes.
are priorities, and okay, I'm traveling, and this and that, and whatever. So a lot of things come up. So yeah, I mean, chemistry call, I think the key is to explain to people what, and what I've realized is that don't buckle down. Okay. Don't I know it's some people say it's easy for somebody to say that don't compromise or don't negotiate, but don't devalue yourself, is what I believe in. I've lost clients, and that's also one more reason why I stopped doing them. That's different. But the moment you start bargaining at that table, right? You say your six coaching session package is XYZ dollars or rupees or whatever. Then they say, oh, I can't afford that much and this and that. And then you say, okay, let's do it at this. Sorry. I mean, don't, there are a lot of people who are going to pull you down. You don't become one of them.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
So I
Very
think
true.
that's one of my key things. And yeah, I lost out a lot of potential clients, but then I wonder, were they actually potential clients,
Perfect question to ask.
right? Were they
It's very
actually there
important. Yeah.
for coaching, or was it there to say that, okay, you want to coach, you can do it for free for me?
I think very, very true.
Huh.
Because this is something that happens a lot with us, right? Because we are like, oh, what I want to tell all of us is don't rush into
Yeah.
um, saying, will I get clients? Will I not get clients? That rushing bit, I think we'll have to go through that very cautiously.
Absolutely.
And sometimes you also, I have seen, Pushkar, is you take a call based on the client. And if you're seeing you're losing money through the client, you also see it as a strategic advantage. Can this coaching this person open up something entirely new, right? So
Absolutely.
you take it based on a strategy call, but you know that you're getting something out of it beyond the
Correct.
money, which is going to
Yeah.
compensate you for this, right? So that's the thing. So sometimes I've looked at it saying that's not a problem, that's not a situation that a lot of people have come to me with.
Hmm.
This would be a challenge for me, and I'm happy to work with that, possibly a reduced pricing than usual.
Hmm.
I have strategically made a decision. It's a decision I have made, and I know what is the outcome out of that because I see potential in what comes next.
Correct.
So you can still make that call for sure. You also need to say no. I think that's one of the greatest lessons I've learned is to say no,
Oh
to
yeah.
say thanks. I respect your life situation, nothing personal, but
Absolutely.
yeah.
So I'll tell you a funny incident, right? So one guy came up to me and not, I mean, I know we are not supposed to judge and all that, but this is just a incident I would love to share. So he came to me and, I'm out of a job and I don't know what to do. And, I'm this thing, financial trouble and this, that, and whatever. Full spiel. Okay. I said, okay, fine. And that's the time I just ended my pay what you want thing. But I said, okay, fine, I'll explain
Mm-hmm.
to you. So he said he want, and my condition for pay what you want was 6 sessions, right? Because at that time hours were important for me, right? So six
Mm-hmm.
sessions.
Correct.
So he agreed to pay me 500 rupees for 6 sessions. Okay. I said, fine. Because, if he's saying he's in hardship and everything. And then during those sessions, he wanted me to kind of see something on his laptop. Okay. And then he suddenly brings out a Mac. I said, if somebody is in so much of hardship, how are they affording a Mac? But, the point was that people will tell you stories.
Correct. And you
And
will know very quickly that that's a story that's being said.
correct.
And yeah, so you will have to see, and at all points of time, if you feel that there's a conflict of interest at some point of time,
Absolutely.
also let them know that this is not working out, right? So,
Correct.
and
So, yeah, so that's why I mean, what I do in my chemistry sessions was that, but I've stopped doing them now.
I
And
think
my
very
strategy
interesting.
has changed again. So,
Mm-hmm.
on what I want to do with my coaching. So touchwood, it's pretty
Yeah,
much
good, good, good. And I think also I think you'll also agree to this, and you'll also realize that people who come to you for hardcore mentoring at some point of time, post the mentoring, we also naturally gravitating towards an aspect to reflect on what they want, how they want to do it. And so it
true.
can come through from a then later transitioning into a coaching approach.
Absolutely.
So you can get into that particular aspect as well. And I've had quite a few who come to me at a consulting phase, moved into
Hmm.
mentoring, and then essentially moved into coaching. And you build that rapport. If you don't know how to build a relationship, uh, that's you're in the wrong profession.
Then you can never coach effectively, Sunil. I mean, that
Uh,
relationship and rapport is very important
very,
from
very,
the
very
onset.
important.
So it's not a
Very important.
transactional thing that you're doing here.
Yes, and I think that's also the aspect where, like a lot of the mentoring that I get, like the ICF mentoring, they finish their session in 24 minutes, 26 minutes, 32 minutes, and then they're like, 32 minutes, I'm sorry, I gave you a minute recording of that's about 30. And I keep wondering, saying, in 30, can you show me the bandwidth of what you have
Hmm.
capacity as a coach, right? So, and that I don't see happening in a lot of places. A lot of places, it's stigma, tuck, tuck, tuck. Okay, we are done. Good to go. These are the things you need to know. And now in ChatGPT, it's not difficult to get to a place saying ask this question at this
Oh,
particular
yeah,
point
yeah,
of
yeah.
time you hit your markers. Right? So
Correct.
the skill level is not there. It's like your driver's license in India. A bad metaphorical representation, but yeah. So you have
But
a license, but I'm not sure if you're like watching you drive. I'm pretty sure I'm asking myself saying, should I go beyond behind you or let you sort of go your own way and I'll figure out the rest of the stuff. So
absolutely.
it's become that. And quota factory is also a nice metaphorical thing.
No,
So
it's
it
true,
keeps
because,
going.
and I wonder because the market here locally is not that mature yet, Sunil. I mean,
Correct.
that's my personal view. But as a coaching thing, I don't think that market is so mature.
Yeah.
Top 1%, 2% might understand and what might appreciate. Forget understanding, might appreciate what coaching is, but the market here is not so mature right now to sustain the kind of supply we are getting into this right now.
Absolutely, sir. Absolutely. Because I get a lot of requests for training, and sometimes if they're depending on the ROI, I take it up. Right. So,
Hmm.
uh, and training, my deal is my strategies for a long run. I'm just connecting with the individual and through a series of WhatsApp conversations, LinkedIn, wherever we're
Hmm.
connecting, they keep in touch with me and basically run the show.
Correct.
At some point of time, they may come back at whatever. And so that training is something that's come by. So it's very important now as coaches to see, especially from an Indian context, is that it's not going to work out right now for you, and nobody's going to stand in line just because you're an ACC, PCC, and even MCC.
No,
Nothing,
not at all.
nothing
Not at all.
changes.
Nothing
Nothing
changes.
changes.
Absolutely. I
So
agree.
you will have to build it from scratch. Keep building it. It's a very tiring process. And that's also where communities combine. I think one of my strongest aspects of running TOC is to build that community beyond your peer coaching hours. Right? So
Correct.
you should not just you can definitely leave after your hours are done. But can we as a team create a culture that says I want to stay here? And that's a winner in many ways.
Agree. Agree.
Hmm. What was keeping you accountable to all of this, except that you moved out of your job? So, what was keeping you accountable to all this?
So I think it was those two questions I'd asked myself. See, earning was obviously it was a non-negotiable thing, right? We had to. So I had to find a source of income, but I didn't want to do something just for the sake of it. And that question I'd asked myself that what am I going to enjoy doing for the rest of my life? Matlab, that's dramatic, but at least 10, 15 years is, and this then came to me as an answer. So I'm not talking about a deep reflective state of mind that I went in or anything. It was just a simple conversation with myself saying that what am I going to enjoy? I reflected back. I really enjoyed these conversations I had with people, in my teams, my peers, and all of that. So, and I'm still very happy with that decision. So I can see myself doing this for many years to come
Oh, fantastic.
because I
So,
love those conversations. So I do.
yeah,
If I do 4 5 coaching sessions a day, I'm not tired. I'm energized. So,
for sure, because we have that thing of the marathon coaching hours. So people used to
yeah,
ask me at home, and like the non-coaching world also suddenly sees you saying, "Why are you
yeah,
sitting in front of a laptop? Are you not
correct.
tired?" And I used to say, I'm the opposite. At the end of the day, I am far more
Very
energized
energizing.
than how I
Yeah,
started.
absolutely, absolutely.
It gives you a lot of energy, and also it also burns you out. I think it's a very fine line between burnout to this, and
Correct.
I think that's where all coaching, supervision, all those spaces really need to come into play. Maybe one other observation I had, which I also want to bring it up, is which also is a parallel to mine is that I use peer coaching to build my business or
Hmm.
build different aspects of the business. In terms of your tagline, I had to look at so many other micro aspects in a week or so. And I used to carry a weekly concept saying this week this is my priority.
Hmm.
And a lot of the peer coaching happened had chunks of that. And obviously it was never repeated. And then I didn't take the same topic, but there are always related topics so that at the end of say 4 days, I personally know I've done progress.
Correct.
The coach on the other side has found a really resonant topic. And through mine, it also helps help them, and through that coaching space, it's also helped me. So it's a win-win-win,
Yeah.
any way you see it. So it could also be if you're looking at being serious about your coaching business and you're really into it, you could look at that as your entry point to get into peer
Oh,
coaching.
and absolutely, Sunil. And this career investor, the very fact that I started doing these videos and all that, that also came out of coaching sessions that, why am I not doing that? So peer
Absolutely.
coaching has been fantastic. Seriously, it's been really helpful. Yes, there were specimens I came across also, but that's fine, right? It just
That's part
brings
and
some
parcel of the
humor.
journey. Right? They will
Yeah,
always
yeah,
get
absolutely.
somebody or
Absolutely.
the other who's
Absolutely.
going to challenge you in a way that's not coaching challenge. It's going to be a personal challenge, and
Absolutely.
it also is setting you up for what's coming in terms of real world. Not all
Yeah,
your
yeah.
clients you will you'll resonate with your clients.
No, not at
Some of
all.
them will pay you. They'll offer you great money, but then you're like, thanks, boss. Me and you don't align in any way possible. And you grow as an individual, and while going as an individual, you also grow as a coach. And I think that's
Correct.
something that you would also acknowledge that through your journey of coaching as an experience, as an individual, also you automatically
Correct.
moved ahead.
Absolutely.
And I think that's what would differentiate a good coach and a credentialed coach.
I love that.
Yeah, it is very important because if I don't see your transition,
Hmm.
and mind you, the world is watching. And if I don't see your transition, I am asking what are you doing? And that's the essence of when I see when I feel you that you've changed over the years
Hmm.
or whatever timeline. I am now naturally curious to say how did you do it, and then you
Hmm.
say, "Hey, I use coaching. I'm a coach X Y Z." You're naturally pulling them
That
in rather
inspires
than
you
pushing
also
them into
then.
coaching.
Correct. That then inspires you also.
Absolutely. And
Yeah.
you're like, oh, what is coaching? Tell me more. And then the fish has already come and put on your hook. You all have to do is pull it out and, start cooking. So that's the thing. And one final question. How do you make your clients come back to you?
Okay. I don't, because I don't work with individual clients. My
So
strategy is
in
very clear.
B2C, B2C if you're doing.
I don't do anything of that sort. I
So
don't
for
do B2B.
B2P,
I don't do B2C, nothing.
mm,
I have only signed up with aggregators
mm,
because I have realized that whatever this is called, business development, sales, pitching, is not my cup of tea. So I
mm,
will leave the experts to do that. They will pay me lesser. I'm fine. But all I'm doing is then coaching,
mm,
because that's something I realized some time ago, that I'm spending too much of energy in these conversations also. Let it
true,
be
true.
B2C or B2B. So HR heads or L&D heads or whatever it is. And it's not my cup of tea,
Mm.
which is,
Yeah,
maybe
you
it's a,
correct.
what do you call that? Your limiting belief or whatever fancy words you want to use. But that's all fine. That's all good. It is what it is. So I have
I
realized that I'm
yes.
happier working with these aggregators. Yes, it's uneven. Sometimes it's good, sometimes it's not. That's fine.
Yeah. You've chosen what's right for you. I think that's very important for us as coaches to see what's right for us. Right. So quite a lot of them tell me saying, Sunil, I don't think I'll be continuing with coaching sometime, and that's your choice. You made that decision, go for it.
Absolutely.
It's your
Correct.
reality. Do that. So
Correct.
there's nothing wrong, there's nothing right in this particular place. You're just trying to
This is
see
what works for you,
what
Sunil,
works.
frankly, and nobody knows it
Yeah,
much better than you.
yeah,
So,
absolutely. So you will have to pivot. I think I have an entire, I can do a mini series on what's my journey in coaching. But you are the focused place. I'll keep it back to you, right? So uh, I'll open it up for others who've been listening to Putkar and who may have questions. I have a lot of questions, but I think in just in terms of the timeline space, I'll open it up for all the others. Hi, Jyoti. Good to see you.
hi, Jyoti.
You are on mute, Jyoti, so you'll have to unmute. Ask to unmute. Let's see. No. Yeah, you are
Yeah.
good.
Hi, Sunil. Hi, Pushkar.
Hi.
Hello.
I just suddenly remembered it's Monday. I always tend to forget these days. So I just put it in the middle of the meeting and I just tried to gather what the meeting could be all about.
So, what
Yes.
have you inferred so far, Jyoti?
No, I just joined at almost at the end. So I think it was just an interview. Sunil was telling
Mhm.
about asking, because I have also known you for the last 2, 3 years.
Yeah. Yeah,
directly, indirectly through people. And I remember you coming to YML, CMC,
correct.
and addressing us that time. So that time you got more into prominence. And now, whatever you are saying, like 5 to 6 coachings a day, for me, that would be humongous. So,
Yeah,
congratulations on that
thank you.
journey that you've traveled, because I know you worked really hard. And if
Thank
hard
you so
work
much.
can lead to, so that's really like, it's very giving a lot of hope to us. And yes, Sunil, what I liked about you was the mini series part. I've been watching a lot of these scam series and all nowadays. The Bad Boys of India and all those stuff. A whole lot of series I've got. So many holidays and I don't know what. And I'm so bored of coaching all the time. But I think no one has ever made a thing on coaching. Like
That's
nowadays,
true.
real life things are I'm telling you, do it. It's a very good
Mhm.
idea. It came as a joke, but you should do it.
I think
So,
that's how life is, and that's how life gives you ideas. So I'm actually writing it down. So
Today I got a client, in fact, he's very nice client, but he wanted to improve his Hindi and he wanted help because he can't communicate at home.
okay,
So I
interesting.
was I was the wrong coach for him. Although
Yeah,
I told him, yes, I will help you, but the kind of Hindi he wanted because he was having communication gap with his family at
mm,
home.
mm,
I passed him down to Pooja. I said, okay, Pooja, you take care of him.
yes. I think that's also a very important point, Jyoti, which I think I will also bring it to everybody's notice, and Pushkar also would agree. Is that sometimes it's a community you are trying to create. So you are not looking at coaches as competition, but coaches as a community. And it could be
correct.
somebody's skill is better than yours. It could be somebody, say, for example, wants creative writing. And obviously, I'll be in the you know
Yeah,
in the
definitely.
mix. So if I know BNI is something that you've also been part of. If I have shared something for you as a referral and very genuinely shared something, saying, Sunil, go in, look it up. This is up your alley. At some point or the other, either you or the universe works in strange ways. Somebody else will come back to you with something.
Because
So,
otherwise, we are bound to get, into the loop. Somehow or the other, I will get caught, even if I take it. So I said, yes, I
yeah,
can manage. But I think I didn't say a friend, I said a colleague of mine. So as a colleague of mine, she would do an excellent job. So I would like you to try her. And in case you feel that you cannot, then I'm always there.
yeah.
But I would prefer
Absolutely.
you to, because we like to give service rather than just get
Correct.
clients.
Perfect. And I think that's a lovely thing. Not just getting clients, but to serve their needs. That's
पुष्कर
fantastic.
तुम्हारे छोटे मोटे क्लाइंट्स मेरे को दे देना प्लीज बिकॉज यू हैव 5 6.
Jyoti
मेरे को कोई
Madam.
भी मिल जाए चलेगा.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I
what I
had a
was telling,
question. I had a
yes, sir.
question.
Yes. Yes, sure, sir. Tell
Okay.
me.
I think the way both of you are, having this conversation, so I was keen to understand. I don't know whether I understood it right or not. Maybe only coaching is very difficult to kind of sell, but if you can combine coaching, mentoring, or coaching plus training, or coaching plus something else, so it is easy. So, is this what I'm hearing, or I'm wrong?
Pushkar, you want to take
So,
it? I will come
yeah,
to
yeah,
it
sure.
after
We
you've
can
done.
both give our. So, uh, coaching, no. So, one, I would say no. That's probably not something, at least, that was intended to be conveyed. I was talking more about from a career coaching point of view, where an employer is paying for an employee to be coached. That typical arrangement that we have, where you sign up with an organization and they're expecting results out of something. So, in these career conversations specifically, what happens is that people come to you because you have that amount of experience. So I'll give you an example, right? So if there is somebody who's looking for, like an organization is looking for a career coach or a coach for their employees, I go to them with 30 years of experience across various industries, various fields, etc., versus a coach who has not probably who doesn't have the corporate work experience. They would be inclined to work with me rather than that other person. Yes, we know that coaching is, it doesn't matter subject matter expertise is not required. But from a client's point of view, they are more comfortable if you know what you're talking about. Because in a career conversation, career coaching conversation, I think that's what the expectation is. And that's where the coaching and mentoring can be blended, or people expect it to be blended because they want solutions at times. They don't want us to keep on, having that self-realization conversations or deeper questioning and all of that. But they want a quick fix conversation. Like I've had a coaching session that, recently, in fact, uh, my year-end appraisal is tomorrow. How do I do it a good job about it? Now, at that time, I cannot adopt a normal coaching methodology or process. There has to be something additional to it also. So is it
Okay.
required, Ananta? No. But do corporates specially want it in some way? Yes. And that is the hard reality. But in other kinds of coaching that you've done or that you get to do, like parent coaching or life coaching or relationship coaching, then I don't think that comes into play as much,
Correct.
is what my personal experience has been.
Perfect. No, I
And
think
even in my career conversations where employees have been, are taking um, advantage of the organization's offering, there are conversations which are very personal also. It's not entirely about career or anything of that sort, because I always say, right, whatever we do at our home, outside with our friends affects how we perform at work. It's all intertwined. So there are conversations where we've spoken about very personal things also, about childhood, about how it's impacting them. So it's very different.
mm, yeah, I think one fits all, one size fits all is not possible. And what I was sharing, I was more coming from do not limit yourself to say only coaching is the
Correct.
possibility. For you to generate your revenue, you could also take up training if that training is something you're good at. You could also
Yeah.
take up mentoring if that's something you're good at, consulting, XYZ. I more so from a don't put all your eggs in the same basket kind of a thing. Through training, what can happen is the person and you are in touch. And through over a period of the next 6 months, 8 months, whatever timeline, or maybe the next 15 days, they may find a need for them to be mentored, trained to mentored, mentored to coached. So do not look at clients in a single dimension, or do not look at people as clients, which
Yeah.
what Jyoti was saying. So look at people, look at if that's a skill that you're ready to work with, fantastic. Because a lot of the coaches who face burnout look at coaching as their only method of making money, and that's where the big bottleneck happens.
Correct.
And if you're seeing other aspects that is working, I'd say just go for it. Right?
So if I can
And
add in, okay, sorry. Yeah, carry
please,
on.
yeah, please. Just I think it is just closing around the
No,
same thing. Don't put
I
all your
just
eggs in the
started this in fact about say 3 months ago. You know how I
basket.
was, Sunil, about my coaching all the time, that I want to coach you and all that stuff. So I think I was really facing a burnout because I was doing everything possible. I was doing everything possible, putting my head into everything, website, profile, everything, resume, getting into podcasting, what's my that, LinkedIn and all the fancy works there also. So you get at a point you just don't get any results and you wonder what's happening. Then I decided to start my business once again. I was into business for 25 years. So part of it, I mean, I made 5 plans, out of which I started with one and I started generating money at least.
Mm.
And then that burnout decreased on its own, although my business would just take me 2 hours a day. And I'm still spending the rest of the day on coaching. But at least when I see that money coming in, a sufficient amount of money, I'm not burning out now. I'm not feeling that frustration and I'm much more
Correct.
easygoing. And all the more I think clients are now coming in. I'm getting more inquiries.
Yeah, I
So
think it's a
that's
Absolutely.
phase
what
where
you
you
just said that I
confident.
could connect to it.
Yeah,
True,
thanks.
true, true. You
Thanks.
confidently show up, right? So your confidence affects how you're thinking, what you're doing. even energetically how you show up to the universe and all that,
Yeah.
it basically makes sense saying, oh, it's not happening, it's not happening. If that's your thought, uh, all that you see is, oh, it's not happening. And also quite a thing with Jyoti sharing. So a lot of things that even Pushkar set up. You set systems up. The systems to start performing, it'll take time. Yeah. So that's
Yeah.
also a thing to look out for.
I
I
think
think Sunil,
3 years at an average
patience
is
and consistency.
Patience and consistency.
at
I
least
think
3 years
Rahul
it
Dravid
takes to
works well.
start. Unless for people like Sunil who start the very next day, they learn coaching. But normally, I think it takes a person 3 years at the
Easy,
minimum to really get the
easy,
first good start.
easy. So I love the compliment that it took Sunil just the next day to start. I will not
That's
refute
exactly
that
what you did. You
compliment.
started distributing pamphlets, and I know that story of yours.
No, no, it is strategy. I think what's really worked out is strategy, and you should have every individual coach should have a strategy. Like you said, you had 5 plans. There needs to be a strategy to look at this as a
Yeah.
business.
True.
It's not something like our college structure is like we do your college, somebody comes, hires you out of campus, it's out. It's no longer the game.
Sunil, please tell Pushkar to talk to me one to one without charging me.
Jyoti,
I'm
anytime,
your friend, so I'm
please.
just using a reference.
Yes,
Anytime,
yes.
Jyoti.
I had another question. Maybe if others
Sure.
do not have, I had another question.
You
So,
can, yeah, yeah.
yeah. See, I am working in an organization, and I am also, trying my hands at completing
Hmm.
ACC. Nice to hear all the things. And, you also talked about being not doing everything on your own, and like a Ola or a Uber, right? You somebody else does all the ground marketing, and then you go there
Correct.
and coach, right? And that is what the best model you arrived at after 2 years, right? So this may be difficult for a person who is on roles of an organization.
Hmm.
It may be easier for a person who is on his own, but a
Absolutely.
person who is on in working in an organization, then this becomes a big challenge, right? So I just wanted to, because you have gone through it, Sunil has gone through it.
Yeah, yeah.
Uh, and you also discussed that peer coaching, 30 minutes, everybody knows what it is getting discussed. I know it's a bit challenging. I just wanted to know any tips you have for people who are working and also
So,
trying their hand here.
Ananta, what is the goal right now? Is it
Yeah,
money or is
PCC.
it hours?
No. It is PCC in 2026. That's it.
Okay, fantastic. So it's a
Very simple.
combination of hours plus the experience plus the actual coaching experience, and money is probably not the primary goal, right? Is
No,
what I've
no.
understood.
Hmm.
Working in an organization, what about internal coaching? I mean, I think you have a plethora of people around you,
Hmm.
right? Your
Absolutely.
colleagues, your friends,
Yeah.
your
So,
team. So I don't know what you do, but that there will be a lot of people you're associated with on a daily basis, right? There are
mhm.
formal ways of doing it. So in fact, one session I remember, and this coach actually came up with this, saying that they approached their HR team formally and said that I'm doing this, I need to do this, so can I roll out an internal coaching? And then it was formalized in the organization.
Mhm.
So internal coaching within, and you have that ready-made clientele, if I can call it that,
Yeah.
because you're already in touch. So both being on your own has its own advantages, because then you don't have these normal restrictions that you can't charge, you can't double income and all of that. But being in an organization also has its own advantages, that you have a set of pool of people already, and depending on what kind of organization you work for, is there a mindset to coaching already there which makes it easier, or is it something you need to introduce which might make that battle a little more difficult to climb? So but you have that with you right now, and friends and family. So I know friends and family, and it never worked out for me. No friend wants to be coached by their friend. No family member wants to be coached. So a lot of people say try with your friends and family. It's never worked out for me.
Doesn't work.
Right? I mean, I wouldn't want to get coached by my friend, because there is one thing of being true and honest with a third party who you don't know rather than somebody you know very well. There is always that um, slight difference, right? So use your organization if that's a possibility, and use people in your organization. Formalize it or do it, through your WhatsApp groups or whatever. So yeah.
Yeah.
And I think that's the best thing you can do right now, given that you have that available to you.
Perfect. Perfect.
I
Thank
would
you.
have one more question if we have time.
Thank you.
Yeah,
Sure,
sure.
sure.
Yeah, Pushkar, thank you so much. It really helped a lot. I would have a question. When did you start doing the pay what you want? At what point? Because I think this is where I am right now. I'm kind of going to my 100 hours. And now it feels like, okay, should I, or is that still far away, or I shouldn't devalue myself too much. You know what I mean? Like, I don't want to make a lot of money. Obviously, it's not a priority. Just like from a strategic point of view, at what point do you start saying,
So
okay, pay what you
my
want?
no, Stasa. So my objective till about me getting my PCC was the hours and the coaching experience or whatever you call it, or let's just call it the hours, right, for simplicity. So I finished my ACC in November last year, right? That's when I got my ACC. And then I was deciding on how to get this 400 now. And I obviously kept on with my peer coaching. And then I realized that it's not going to happen because I was getting burnt out coming up with conversations. If I was coaching, fantastic, no problem. But getting coached was a challenge. And that's when I decided the pay what you want. The reason why I said I'm not devaluing myself at that time and is because my objective wasn't money at that time. My objective was to get me the experience, the hours at a pace which will support my completion of 400 hours in a year. So I launched this in January, I think, so 2025. And I kept it on till about March or something. How many clients did I get out of that? I think some 14 people signed up, if I'm not mistaken. And what it gave me basically is 14 into 6 sessions. So that's a lot, right? Especially when you're counting your hours. So that really helped me.
Okay.
So that is the time when I decided to do this pay what you want. And so hope that kind of clarifies.
And
Sasa, to
always
add on.
6 sessions, right? You don't offer less than 6. This is where you
No,
start.
because again, my intent was not to do these one session and thank you very much. My
Yeah,
intent
exactly.
was my hours, right?
Yes.
So that's why I
Great.
said,
Thank you.
yes, I'm allowing you to pay me what you want, but then you be there and you be present for 6 sessions.
Yeah.
So at least
Thank
that's the
you.
minimum I need. So
Perfect.
yeah.
I think Stasa, just to add on to that, so for him it was his strategy to 6. It's not like you could do 10, you could do 4,
Yeah,
up to you.
absolutely.
And for the original question that you said, when do you start charging? You do it ASAP.
Yeah, absolutely.
You know the client is going to pay, what the kind of client that is going to pay, how much are they willing to pay, how much is a stretch for them, what is the kind of things that you are sort of ready to work with, what you're not ready to work with. But the only delta is you are confident as a coach. The point you know you're confident as a coach, you're good. Like even if you're confident but competency wise you still need shifts, the client will make you shift for sure.
Correct.
Right? Or you will know that there is a requirement, there's a gap in terms of competency, come back to a mentor. And that's what I
So
say.
Strasser, I took on my first actual playing client when I was not even in ACC.
Mm.
So this was a colleague I knew from my past, and he said, "Are you doing coaching?" I said, "Yes." "Can you coach?" I said, "Yes." So nothing stopped me, and that's what I said. I never said no to anything.
Okay, great.
Yeah, so,
Because I have kind of the opposite situation now because I'm getting kind of really good opportunities with some organizations
Okay.
because they found out that I'm doing coaching. They're like, oh, you want to come? And I don't have the confidence. I'm also very hard on myself, which is sometimes a problem. So I'm like,
Yeah.
no, no, no. I need this amount of hours and then I'll be confident. And now people are telling me, are you stupid? Like, go, right? It's a great opportunity. But sometimes it's just like everything. You don't know, what's the right
No, so I
strategy.
always used to ask myself this question: that if somebody is coming to me, why are they coming to me? they must
Mm.
be, looking at something which I'm not realizing, right? So why am I
Yeah,
stopping myself? So,
that's true.
Yeah. So
I need
Start,
some more
we could,
coaching on that.
yeah, we could talk offline in terms of seeing how, we could
absolutely.
definitely take this forward. I'm
Yeah.
only putting this question off because 8:32. So if,
Yeah.
yeah, and I'm pretty sure if we go on and again, this conversation will keep going. Except that I have my dinner plans to get to, and for those, I think Jyoti and all the others who've been part of multiple TOC meetings, 8:30 if it goes off, it goes to 9:30 also. So I'm very conscious. This year it's my New Year resolution. Let's not break it at session number 4. But yeah, I think if you have questions, put it on the group. Reach out to Pushkar.
Yeah,
He's a lovely
absolutely.
chap already. So you met him and you've seen how he answers. And also, one thing I was very conscious of is I want somebody who would love, build the brand of TOC as much as building their own brand in this space. And then with Pushkar, there are no questions. Pushkar asked me what's the criteria, and I said, with you, there's no criteria. I just want somebody who holds that integrity into the equation, and that's that. The honesty and integrity is what we looked at. So thanks, Pushkar. Thanks for your time, and I'm pretty sure there are more conversations. 2 years of experience can't be put into a 1 hour time capsule. But you've shared some very beautiful points, and I'm sure people who are looking at the recording also would love to reach out to you, man. Thank you
Absolutely,
for
Sunil.
today.
And thank you so much for having me. And yeah, I'm on the group. So any questions, just let me know.
Yes, yes, yes. All right. Thank you. Thanks, Pushkar.
All
Thanks,
right. Thanks,
everybody
guys.
else. See
Bye-bye.
you.
See you.
Bye bye.
Bye bye.